gonna work with all these?
You want to test it out?
That one fell.
I got it.
I figured one of them was gonna fall
Well,
or
you know,
squelch.
I lost my tripods.
Oh, we need to get a moat box for you guys.
That would be great.
So hopefully they don't move this is the problem. If they move this, it's gonna. There.
Okay, I think that.
How's that? Does that work?
Yeah, that should.
Okay. I'm gonna turn this on and leave it on now.
Yes. Is he fine over there? I just want to make sure that I'm appeasing him. Okay, just make sure. Since you're here and I won't kill the house, is he? No, this is just where they're standing right now.
6 people. Thank you for asking.
Perfect.
Because I think originally I was with Amy, she just assumed she got shot or something else.
Much of anything? Yeah, so perfect. I just wanted to make sure it works out for you. I'll ask Gil the house next. But yeah, she's just going to do her thank yous after FBI, so we're just going to. No, that's fine. There we go. I'll leave this right here. That's good for you. Right before we start. But that's your spot right there. You'll be actually AUSA in Lakewood, FBI, HSI, and Seward. Yes. I think so, right? Just kidding. I just needed Carly to confirm that that's fine. I know. I'm trying to make sure.
Alright, so you have her right up?
Yep. We have 4 more minutes.
First one's upstairs. Don't vibrate. Should be. What does that say? That's a silent mode.
And Amy, again, is doing the intro, leading everyone into it, and she'll introduce you. And then once you're done, they know that the FBI is right after. Perfect. Did you do sound and all that stuff?
It's all on. How's everyone sound? Everyone sound good? Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. As long as nobody touches the microphone, I think we'll be solid. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. I habla español. That's about as that's college Spanish right there. All right.
I will say, is anyone placing their speeches on there?
Probably. It's probably gonna. That's
So I think Chief Jackson, yeah, let's. Hopefully it doesn't fall.
Yeah.
Just put it like that.
Here.
There you go.
Hopefully, as long as it doesn't have paper.
There you
touch it,
go.
should be
No
good.
paper is touching it. We're good, we're good?
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Alexander. I'm the Public Affairs Specialist for FBI Seattle. Thank you for coming out today for our event. We have several speakers today, and after we hear from our speakers and they say a few words, we'll be able to open it up for a few minutes for Q&A about this event. And I also have copies of the indictment and the press release over on the table over there. If you did not get a copy of that, we'll also be sending out the press release shortly via email. So first, I'd like to introduce Chief Jackson from the Tacoma Police Department and welcome her to the lectern. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today to share the details of a joint operation hosted here at the Tacoma Police Department. The investigation of this operation uncovered individuals with ties to gangs operating a criminal enterprise within our community. Their activities extended beyond Tacoma, impacting communities across the region and even into other states. This was an incredibly successful operation, representing the strength and collaboration, and demonstrated what can be achieved when law enforcement stands shoulder to shoulder. At the Tacoma Police Department, we are humbled and honored to have served as the command center for this large-scale effort. a role reflecting not only the trust and confidence placed in our department, but also the power of partnership among our local, state, and federal partners. I want to thank those partners, including but not limited to the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, ATF, HSI, Washington State Patrol, the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, Lakewood Police Department, Seattle Police Department, South Sound 911, and all other agencies involved for your shared commitment to justice and public safety. I also want to recognize the dedicated members of the Tacoma Police Department who supported this effort. I am proud of your hard work, and I am proud to stand beside you. This is exactly what our mission is about, making Tacoma a safe place to live and thrive. In speaking to our community, as your police chief, I want to be perfectly clear. Gang activity has no place in our community. And to any young person who feels they have no other choice, know this: we are here to support you and connect you with the resources you need to build a safer, better future away from this path. So let me close with this. This case shows the power of standing together. It sends a very clear message. Criminal activity will not take hold in our communities. Tacoma is stronger today because of this work, and together we will continue building a safer future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you for hosting our event today and for being a valuable partner to the FBI Seattle Field Office for this initiative and many others. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. I'm Mike Harrington, Special Agent in charge of the FBI Seattle Field Office. I'm pleased to be here today with our partners from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington, the Tacoma Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations, the Lakewood Police Department, and the Pierce County Sheriff's Office. Our partnerships with these and other agencies throughout the South Sound Safe Streets Gang Task Force are the reason we're here today, and they make operations like this possible. More than a dozen agencies assisted with this investigation in some capacity. That's not just the case team who've been working hard on this investigation for months now. It also includes agencies that provided support on the day of the takedown, such as K-9s or SWAT teams at multiple locations. As a result, today we're able to announce the results of an 18-month investigation that began in April of 2024, targeting members of the Knockout Crips street gang responsible for violence in the Tacoma area. Yesterday, we executed 13 arrests of high-level fentanyl traffickers and 13 search warrants in the Seattle-Tacoma area and even beyond Washington State in Arizona, Nevada, and Puerto Rico. This investigation revealed that through a courier network, drugs were being trafficked into Washington State from a source of supply in Phoenix with Mexican cartel ties. Female couriers would fly down to Phoenix and then bring the drugs back to Washington State for redistribution in checked luggage. The supplier in Phoenix was also sending other couriers around the United States, and investigations into that activity are ongoing. Even before yesterday's takedown, investigators had seized 35 kilos of fentanyl across 2 months earlier this year, which is almost 80 pounds. Fentanyl was also found in checked luggage at the SeaTac Airport and Baltimore Airport. We seized additional fentanyl and other drugs, as well as guns, some of which were stolen in our operation yesterday. Our ongoing goal is to stop the flow of dangerous drugs into the Pacific Northwest and Washington State to make Tacoma and the surrounding cities in Pierce and King counties safer. I want to commend the hard work of our case team to achieve that goal. When investigating a case such as this, partnerships are vital. I can't emphasize that enough. Behind these agency representatives standing up here today are hundreds of staff working tirelessly at all hours. For Wednesday's takedown, the FBI had devoted more than 100 personnel executing arrest and search warrants and processing evidence. More than 300 staff in total were present from all participating agencies. The work didn't begin or end with yesterday's law enforcement activity. Investigations like these take months or years, gathering evidence, analyzing data and trends, interviewing witnesses, and many other methods. We will continue to pursue drug trafficking organizations to remove dangerous individuals trafficking drugs into our communities to keep Tacoma and Washington State safer. To other violent criminals and drug traffickers, know that we are always watching for opportunities to dismantle your organizations and arrest and charge all associated individuals, and we're well capable of working together to do so. Finally, I should mention this is part of the FBI's Summer Violent Crime Initiative called Summer Heat. This is a multi-pronged offensive to crush violent crime by working alongside state and local partners, executing federal warrants on violent criminals and fugitives, and dismantling violent gangs nationwide to restore safety in our communities across the country. I'll now turn the program over to Tom Woods, Deputy Criminal Chief with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. This was a coordinated effort between federal, state, and local partners to dismantle a violent drug organization that sold and moved thousands of fentanyl pills at any given time. Drugs that were destined for the streets of Tacoma and for the surrounding region. Each of those pills with a potential to kill. A group that possessed dangerous firearms in connection with their trade. A group who enlisted women to transport fentanyl in suitcases through our nation's airports. It's appropriate that we are here today on National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. We are in the midst of one of the deadliest and scariest drug crises in this nation's history. And today's event shows how we are to make progress in this challenge by joining the forces of the federal government with our state and local partners. The number of federal and state partners who collaborated on this initiative over the past several months is staggering. It spanned the entire country and spanned so many agencies in our region. And I want to call out specifically the two prosecutors who worked on this case, Christine Forrester and Crystal Correa, who spent countless hours into the night and over the weekend to help make this a success. And let it be clear that today is not the end. It is a continuation of the fight to make our streets and our communities safer. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Colin Jackson. I'm the Acting Special Agent in Charge for Homeland Security Investigations in Seattle. As you just heard from my fellow speakers, we are here today to celebrate the success of yesterday's enforcement operation. That operation would not have been possible without the law enforcement partnership of the FBI, the Tacoma Police, Lakewood Police, Pierce County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. We are all dedicated to keeping our community safe and ensuring that criminal organizations are held to account for their actions. Our main targets of this operation were known members or known associates of a violent gang based in Pierce County. That gang, known as the Knockout Crips, is a transnational criminal organization whose illicit activity posed a significant threat to public safety in the greater Tacoma area. Over the past year, our HSI office in Tacoma joined efforts with other law enforcement partners to investigate a large-scale drug trafficking network orchestrated by the Knockout Crips. The investigation was initiated in response to a string of homicides and other violent acts that were attributed to the gang. Agents and officers assigned to the case have conducted thousands of hours of investigative work to dismantle this dangerous criminal enterprise. It's critical for the public to understand that the individuals we arrested engaged in a wide array of dangerous criminal activity. They were armed, involved in shootings, and peddled the most dangerous of narcotics, all while risking the lives of those around them for power and money. Not only was the safety and security of our local community a top priority, We also sought to eliminate the organization's reach to other parts of the country. Our investigation revealed the Knockout Crips routinely employed couriers to transport narcotics, including fentanyl, to other cities across the nation. HSI and our law enforcement partners remain committed to dismantling criminal networks that endanger the lives of all residents of Washington State, as well as communities in neighboring states and across the nation. Our dedication to protecting our communities is unwavering, and we will continue to take decisive action to ensure the safety, security, and well-being of the American people. We are proud to announce that Tacoma is safer today because of this investigation and the hard work of our agents and officers. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Keith Swank, and I'm the Sheriff of Pierce County. And you heard everybody else that's up here tell you the details about this case, so I won't go over them anymore. I just want to tell you that we at Pierce County Sheriff's Office want to thank the local agencies, our partners, especially Tacoma PD, for all of our work together, our investigators. This is an 18-month investigation, and we worked with our federal partners also to get violent criminals off the streets and make the streets of Pierce County safer, and I'm very proud to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
We'll be happy to take a few questions now.
Mike, if I could ask you a question.
Sir.
How would you describe the dent, the void that these arrests have made in the drug trade and crime in Tacoma?
So this is a very significant, I would say, brick out of the foundation of crime in this area. As we discussed, this group was sourcing these drugs from out of state, and were the primary conduit for bringing some of these drugs in here through the method we described from down in the Phoenix area. So that supply, this has done a lot to cut off that supply of drugs into the area, and has also taken a lot of violent individuals off the street, because the drug trade was a very important part of this case, and these drugs can certainly kill. But the violence associated with the trade and with this group in particular is really what was significant and what was important to take off of the street. So sometimes in these cases we will see this create a void that other groups will attempt to fill. We will all be on guard to see if that happens and take appropriate action if it does. But I think the other important factor for this is the deterrent value of this, is that the people who are out there who may be seeking to fill this void are on notice that we are all going to work together to make this community safer.
I noticed the names that are in, there's not a lot of detail listed in who they are. Can you say broadly, law enforcement know of a lot of these people before this operation?
Yeah, so this is, as I said, been a long-running, 18 months of investigation. So this has been an iterative process of really building out the network, who's talking to whom, who's doing what, and what parts. So I would say for most, if not all of these, we had, some knowledge of their activities in association with the group. I'm sorry?
Did any of them have criminal records or significant criminal records?
I don't have those details right now, so I think we would have to circle back with you on that.
Talk a little bit about the courier network, how they may be, if they were recruiting these women, and then how they operated maybe through CTAC.
Right. So I don't know a whole lot about the specifics of the individual women who were involved and how they each became involved in this group, but what I can say is that obviously, when you're flying, there are all sorts of different security measures in place. So they definitely took actions to try to evade and defeat those security messages or methods, such as shrink wrapping the luggage. Apparently they were doused heavily in perfume to try to mask odors. So they were definitely aware that this was a vulnerability for their operation, and were taking steps to protect it. Right. So I believe that 80 pounds was spread across SeaTac and Baltimore, and that was over the course of 2 months earlier this year. And of course, as you see in the press release, we've seized additional drugs yesterday. Yes, sir.
Of course, it depends on the region and the city, but some numbers are showing fentanyl overdose deaths trending down.
Mhm.
Is this something the FBI is seeing, and talk about the big picture trends of not just fentanyl on the streets, but overdoses as well?
Right. I don't have those statistics readily at hand. I do know that we recently published the 2024 crime statistics writ large, which showed kind of across the board reduction throughout the United States in crime, in particular in violent crime. But I think this is still kind of very important to focus on the violence here. The drugs, definitely very dangerous, a plague on our community. But what was really of concern with this particular group was the violence that surrounded that trade, and we seized 23 weapons yesterday, some of which were stolen. Those are off the street, and some of these violent individuals are off the street, and no longer able to engage in the assaults, the drive-by shootings, and the other violent activity that they were engaged in to protect their drug trade. Sir.
You had people arrested as part of the indictment, and then there were these additional arrests that were in connection to the conspiracy.
Right.
In both of those groups, were there suspected members of the Knockout Crip Street gang, or was it just individuals part of the indictment?
Yes, so both of those were suspected associates, affiliates, members of the group. So they're mixed in both groups. And that just kind of is a function of how the investigation and the prosecution just developed as it matured.
A little over 2 years ago, there was a pretty large, similar kind of drug ring and a group of people. Those were more people based out of prisons and those that were incarcerated here. But it was another, a huge volume of drugs in this area. Can you speak at all to how you think you guys are making progress on that kind of volume and the amount of drugs kind of just in this region? That happening over the course of a couple of years ago, and how you guys get another instance like this?
Right. Yeah, it's a very difficult problem. Obviously, where there's demand, there are people that are motivated to provide that supply. But we are very routinely working together to seize those, to cut off those avenues of supply, to get those drugs off the street, and also really targeting not just the most prolific suppliers and traffickers, but the ones who pose the greatest threat to our community, which is why this operation focused on the Knockout Crips, because specifically of that danger they pose to the Tacoma and Pierce County communities.
And can you talk about the history of the Knockout Crips here?
Yeah, so this is a group that has been around for, I think, nearly 20 years, since the early 2000s. I don't know in a great lot of detail the history of this group. My understanding is that they split off from a larger group, so this is kind of a spin-off that then grew. And then throughout that, nearly 20 years, they've always been a violent group, and they've always been a problem for this community, which is one of the reasons, again, that we targeted this group specifically for this investigation.
And how many members were arrested total? Or how many people were arrested total?
Right, I believe it was 16. It was 9, and then 7, 13. It's 13.
8 out of 9 people were arrested. Is there anything different or still pending? Last person case that was identified.
Yeah, and for anybody that has charges that's not yet in custody, we'll definitely be doing whatever we can to track them down to bring them to face justice.
I was hearing that they were using females to do a lot of transport. That seems to be things. Are there other arrests tied to this?
Right. I will say that I can't get into the details of what is ongoing, but this remains an ongoing investigation.
Any last questions? You talked about drive-by shootings and assaults. Is there anything that they've been tied to, like, particularly any big cases that you recently been aware of, or?
None that really have kind of been prominent that I'm aware of. I don't know if Chief or Sheriff, if you're aware of any.
I don't have information.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you all for your time and for sharing, our collective message with the people of Tacoma and Pierce County.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for coming out.
Request the addresses, make sure the warrants were served. Usually they're